know you didn't miss us too much, did you? We couldn't just sit back and leave you hanging. We prepared another special something just for you. You know what to do.
There are hundreds and hundreds of web series, alternate reality games, and cryptic websites out there on the internet, and many of them appear to recycle the same old tropes that have been tried and tried again. This essentially creates an oversaturation of channels doing what seems like the exact same thing. Rarely does a web series come around that genuinely puts a smile on my face the entire time I'm watching it. This isn't a content, calm smile either. This is a curious, weirded out, and fully engaged sense of excitement that just leaves me wanting more. Enter Slaughter Me Street, the land of your worst nightmares and the strangest little animatronics that you've ever encountered. The series starts off on a very obscure foot. In the first episode, titled The Green Children, we see nothing more than a strange animatronic reading a book aloud for all of us.
Time for a story. Won't you join me? Oh, it's true.
Turn the page. A long time ago, during the Middle Ages, two stray children,
Brother and a sister abruptly appeared in a small village of Woolpit, rural England. Turn the page. A villager spotted the two children stuck in a wolf pit, wearing unusual clothing and speaking an unfamiliar language, and appearing to have green skin. Turn the page. When taken to the village, both children didn't eat for a week for noticing and devouring a store that had raw beans. Turn the page. Need a sacrifice. Need a sacrifice. What? Race. Need a...
The Slaughter Me Street channel primarily focuses on four main characters, those being Osfok the Bear, Cirrhosis the Wolf, the Follower, and the Greeter. We follow them on all sorts of strange and bizarre adventures in a show that the creator has titled Odd Stories for Odd Children. Now, Osfok appears to be the most logical and sensible character of the bunch. We primarily focus on him in each episode, and throughout the course of Odd Stories for Odd Children, whom Osfok is named after, we encounter the other three characters and various others. Cirrhosis the Wolf appears to be the second most prominent character that we encounter. He seems to serve as the annoying sidekick and is a welcome form of comedic relief for this bizarre series. They have some pretty interesting adventures, and they all seem to have a horror comedic spin on simple everyday tasks such as reading a book, watching TV, going to a pizza parlor, and even as far as going to a club. Yes, you heard that right. A club.
This
sure is a great club. I sure love this club. Yeah, I can get into this right here. Hey, baby. How are you doing?
I love garage sales. Flea markets are fun. I just found this book. It looks pretty interesting. I don't know. Maybe cool. It's something about, I think it's a recipe book. It might be a recipe book. There's something about bringing, well, the dead. Bringing, ooh.
This is Ted Coppool. We're just reporting today that there is a zombie outbreak. And we gotta do something about it. I don't know what the hell to do. The police have reported all that town. My papers are gone. Now I can't understand what I'm saying no more. But those there zombies. My kitchen, I woke up this morning and I can't even make coffee because you got this guy.
Alright. Well, I'm putting an end to this right now. Give me that book. Emerson, Blake, and Palmer. Oh! Well, that's a big difference. I like this much better.
Some of the episodes are darker than others, and this was absolutely done on purpose. It gives us something that we would want to watch, and gives us an unorthodox approach to an otherwise dark and twisted universe that exists as Slaughter Me Street. For instance, in the episodes titled Curse TV and ... we can see a clear change in tone. If you somehow haven't made the connection yet, Slaughter Me Street is an obvious reference to the children's show Sesame Street, with horror inspiration seemingly drawn from the game Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a no-holds-barred version of the show where anything can happen, and the more we watch of it, the more blatant this point becomes. Now, what exactly is Slaughter Me Street, and how is the show Odd Stories for Odd Children connected to it? Well, after doing some digging on the name in the opening screens, Slaughter Me Street appears to actually be based off a video game of a similar name, that being 123 Slaughter Me Street. It's a horror series that was created by John Colbeck himself, and in the first game, we play as a criminal who's on the run from the law. While on the run, he finds himself falling through the floor of an old apartment to where he's met with endless corridors that he has to traverse through to escape. This initially wouldn't be an issue, however, there are demented animatronics haunting and stalking him throughout his entire trek out of this building. There is one more entry in this game series, namely titled 123 Slaughter Me Street 2, and the most recent third entry is currently being planned.
Polluted and multiple mind from the Stygian pit, a darker kind.
So, why exactly is this channel a thing? After reaching out to John and asking for his input on the web series, he informed me that it was essentially created due to overwhelming demand from fans of the game. So, he took the time to put together animatronics and then composed a show to complement this game and give it more of a background story. To some people, this could turn them away from the series since it essentially reveals that the entire purpose of this channel is to complement this video game. However, for myself, it makes it so much better. If you initially stumble upon the channel without knowing what you're looking at, you would absolutely be confused and intrigued, especially with the pilot episode being laid out in the format that it is. The characters initially appear to be dark and uncanny. However, as the show progresses, we begin to warm up to each of them in a manner that makes them completely likable in their own way. I believe that this was done on purpose to hook the audience with their curiosity and lead them into a show that would very much leave them coming back for more. In one of their uploads, we can see Osfok himself playing Slaughter Me Street, and this ultimately begins our tie into the real world. This fictional universe is being blended with ours through an episode where Osfok shows us some of the cool new modes of Slaughter Me Street, and he succeeds in keeping it interesting throughout the entire playthrough, while Cirrhosis the Wolf is joining us on the video as well.
The play mode is some kind of game option mode, but it's called Lights Out. And apparently there are no safe zones, and in order for you to get away from these creatures, you simply have to turn off your flashlight and not move, which is easier said than done. We're gonna try level 6 and see how this goes. I'm really not, I don't play video games often. I think I know these guys. These might be distant relatives of mine.
Yeah, that's funny.
Anyway. Ooh. Well, first off, I could tell you it's very dark. I guess you kind of need your flashlight to see around.
You know, us wolves, we don't need flashlights.
All
We
right.
have very good eyesight in the dark.
Oh, what do we have here?
Now, see, that is what you call a well-stocked closet. You got your tiff and your whatever the heck that says. I can't read, okay?
Oh, hide.
Games like this normally don't scare me, but I'll admit, those footsteps are a little unnerving. I mean, that's for sure.
Overall, I love what this series is doing, and the existence of a game to tie along with it, or vice versa, leaves us with an incredible new universe to delve into and experience. Slaughter Me Street is a game that's dark, twisted, and full of secrets, and many of those secrets can be experienced through odd stories for odd children. The characters are lovable, yet inherently weird, hilarious, and concurrently disturbing, and the series as a whole is diving into the very narrow niche of dark comedy in a confidently charming manner. Osfok, Cirrhosis the Wolf, the Follower, and the Greeter are all disturbingly charming characters who I definitely recommend you to join as they take on new and outlandish adventures. Odd Stories for Odd Children is going to go places, especially with a creator like John putting this much effort and heart into creating an entire universe for us to enjoy. There are so many other characters from this game series that could be included in this, and I'm stoked to see which ones get introduced in their future uploads. Lastly, I will say, I now know the new game series that I'll be downloading and playing this coming October. I wanted to thank you all for joining me in my explanation of Slaughter Me Street and also for joining me in NightmareExpo weekend. I hope you enjoyed this small journey that we've had for this past 2 days, and I'm ecstatic to see where any will go from here. Anyway, I want to say that I've been getting so many recommendations for incredible content, and I'd like to thank you all for suggesting them to me. You guys are incredible. Also, go give some love to Swamp Dweller for serving as our host for this mini-series. He definitely killed it. Lastly, and once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you all, and as always, good night.